Okay, so earlier today, shooting my Junkie Custom 1022 Ruger clone, and there was a bunch of companies that came out with receivers for them. And one of the first ones I think was Technical Innovations. I'm pretty sure, but the one I got this from is Select Fire, and I think I put a link on the video of me shooting it, but I'm not gonna put links on any of this video stuff right now because everything you're seeing here you can Google. And so this is what I was explaining to you about how to complete this receiver. It comes to you like a milled channel of aluminum with some grooves on the top. And what you have to do is drill the hole for the trigger group, the buffer. Okay, that's pretty easy. Then it gets pretty. Yeah, it depends on your setup. Yeah, drill and counter bore these and tap them for the little wedge, the screws that hold that wedge for that the barrel. You go in there and do that section. That's what the front boss or lug of the 1022 magazine fits into. So it does work. And you also have to. I can't see it, but there's a hole you got to kind of drill, make a little counter bore in this section here. Let's see, can we get the light in it? That section right there, that's what holds the end of the guide rod for the recoil spring in this gun. Fucker's expensive. You can go to a pawn shop, get 1022 cheaper than you can buy this. Get a new barrel and everything and make a great rifle, but I like making stuff, so I went with that. And this is going to be a pistol, like the Ruger Charger. And I'm getting thirsty. My first one was this gun. This is a group buy, and if everybody sees that, they know what I'm talking about. This was made by a company that's no longer around, and the guy kind of got screwed. Not getting into that, but KT Sovereign was the company, and he moved from New Hampshire to Montana, and he has his own CNC machines. And what he do is take a plate of steel and mill each half of this, and have them braced together. And this was like super easy to put together. I had to do the cut the frames and hand fit the parts, but it's a 1911, so you hand fit the part. The trigger sucks on it, by the way. I got a cheap trigger from Sarco, but it's a solid gun. It works. The one I got after that, I got actually two more after this. I got this one, and I didn't get the one after it. Just it never showed up. I paid for it, never showed up. And this is from Tannery Shop. It's a casting, and you can see I got to the beer on this one, and it will be functionable. If I needed it like tomorrow, I can make it work, but I can still make it work. That's some welding there for my Harbor Freight Splattermatic. Not even polished and blued those parts. Those look good. But back then, all you had to do is just cut the frame rails and maybe do some minor fitting of the parts. Now it's like this big whole process of I think milling this out too in this section here. So I ain't into that, but I've had them for a while. I mean, this stuff's been sitting around out in the shop. Look at that poor barrel. That poor thing. That slide. Yeah. Anyway, what I do is AR-15 stuff. So I made the big ass 22 long rifle pistol, and it was off of one of these castings that I used to get from the Tannery Shop. And I think there was another company, I don't remember what they're called, or maybe it was still the same thing from the Tannery Shop, but the foundry, he had changed foundries or something, because there's some different designs here. So what I was getting was these, and there was a little work, there was no hole there, so disregard that. That was there. This is here. the hole for the trigger hole slot was there. That was much smaller. It was like that. So you're getting pretty much like this. Some did have that, some don't have that. And you can see where they probably cut that off. And what you had to do is figure out where the holes for the trigger go, and the hammer, and the safety. Okay, drill those. Okay, it seems like no big deal. Well, first you have to drill the front takedown pin, the rear takedown pin, or front pivot pin, rear takedown pin, however you want to call it. Okay, no big deal. Seems alright. Well, what else do you have to do? Well, look at them. The hole for the detent and spring for the safety is not there. Gotta drill that. Drill and tap for the grip screw. There's no hole on this one, and there's no hole on this one, or any of them, for the spring and detent for the rear takedown screw. This is undersized and not threaded for a upper receiver extension or buffer tube. It's not drilled for the bolt catch, and it's not drilled for the. I already said the front one, but it's not drilled for the spring and the detent to retain the front pivot pin. It doesn't have the weep hole drilled either. None of those. So there was a lot of work. This is what you get now for an 80% lower. All you have to do is mill that pocket out, drill 3 holes. Check that out. Look at that. It's threaded. Big difference. There's less work on these new ones, but I don't have the tools to do it. I'm waiting on them. On these, I just need a Dremel and drill press. And out of 4, since I screwed these up, I can probably make them work. But out of 4, I got 2, and one was the big ass 22 long rifle pistol, and the other one's this lower rifle lower. Yeah, check out. So you can see it was cast. See the pitting on it? So it was a cast aluminum. And I'm pretty dubious about cast aluminum unless it's like, man, I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, like, transmission housings and bell housing stuff in vehicles are cast, but they're just a container. But I had a little blip on that right there. You can see through that. I did that, but and I was off on that, but it still worked. It's still functionable. I could put a lower or an upper. I couldn't put a lower on the upper. Still, I can still assemble it. Sorta, yeah. So it'll work. And then you got stuff like this. I had access to a big milling machine. I actually owned like one of those Smithy 3-in-1 things, and I was gonna make this into this someday. Another alternative, and I don't think it's around right now because I was getting thirsty, is this. Oh, look at that. Nasty. Somebody doesn't know how to weld, or their machine sucks, or I think it's a combination of both. And beer. I still need to put the fillet pieces in here. This is from a place called the Flat Spot. And the guy's selling the whole, I don't know if he sold them yet or not, but he's selling all the rights and everything to this. And this is a steel AR lower that you weld together. It comes in all these little pieces that are, I don't know if they're water cut or laser cut. So they come in all these little layers, and you clamp them together and weld them. Look, check that out. I can't believe NASA hasn't hired me to weld it on the rockets yet. But that's an alternative also. So that's the way ARs go, and the 80%. I was gonna get into the AKAs and stuff like that, the sheet metal ones, but I was gonna do one thing at a time. And I already did a lot for almost a 10-minute video and a drink. I'm getting thirsty and talking too much.